Red alert! Set an intention. Go to Salon track.
Oh my God!
Ahoy, hoy, friends.
Ah!
Welcome to the Salon. Fresh opening credits.
God, that was good.
And welcome to the whole panel. Let me start by introducing the siren of SETI Alpha 5. Krista, how are you?
I just took a drink of wine. I'm good. I'm famous.
We also got Will. Will, how you do?
Great now.
Joanne's with us. She let her hair down. She's ready to dish. How are you, Joanne?
I am good. Tell our joy, everybody.
And pesto parmesan to all. Speaking of hair getting down, Trevor, how you do?
Just let it down earlier today. Yeah, no, it's going great. Warp core breach in the glass.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Salon. Thank you for joining us in the chat. We are live because it is a little after 6:30 p.m. Pacific on a Thursday. That's what we do, and when we do it, if you're getting this later, you're probably getting it on one of the mini podcatchers. We are at Salon Trek everywhere. Like and subscribe, please and thank you. Wherever you get your podcasts, share, comment, like. We're also on Patreon. If you'd like to support the Salon's nonsense, we appreciate defraying the costs of putting on this weekly gaggle of Trek nonsense. I really should write a script for these moments. And tonight, we are talking about Star Trek Con, Episode 3, Do Your Worst. Is everybody ready to do their worst?
All we know how to do.
Well, before we get into it, as you all know, there's something we have to do. We simply must set an intention.
This is obvious, but don't forget to set an intention when you light it, or you're just going to be wasting the wax.
Yes, indeed we must. To set an intention tonight in honor of SETI Alpha pregnancies, I thought it would be fun if we went around the room and shared what Trek character we wanted to see become a parent. I will kick us off, as I always do, by starting with, I'm going to kind of cheat and go with somebody who actually became a parent, but we didn't get to see it happen. And that is Michael Burnham. I loved the epilogue at the end of Discovery, and I loved seeing her insanely hot son. But I would like to have seen her, like, I would watch an entire show on Sanctuary 4 of Book and Burnham raising their kid, like, and just with multiple versions of their cat and just living in their log cabin. Like, that was just delightful for me. But I would like to have seen the earlier years before he became the incredibly hot captain that he became of their child. So, ish. I didn't
the adult version, very clear.
All right. That said, I would like to go around the room and hear who you would like to have seen become a parent. Joanne?
My choice is, I was conflicted, but I settled on Jake Sisko because I'm like, oh, how great that would be, kind of a redo of The Visitor, but he has a family and Cisco returns, and I don't know. Even if Cisco didn't return, just what that life on the station, how it shaped Jake to become kind of a parent, I think would be, I don't know, it will warm my heart. So Jake Sisko's my choice.
I love it. Will, are you going to pick somebody I haven't fantasized about?
Probably. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
We're on a streak.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah. It's insinuated later, but we never got to see Spock as a father. I think it'd be interesting to see him. That's like the like. I feel like that's like the kind of the evolution of the character. Like there's an implication that he has a child. Like in the novelization, I think it's Star Trek 4 when he leaves Vulcan. There's an insinuation that Saavik is pregnant with his baby from when they're on the Genesis planet. Weird. And then the Roddenberry archive video, the weird AI Spock one or Kirk one, that it's implied that the Vulcan standing next to Saavik is Spock's son. So it would be interesting to see that. It's a little late, but it would have been interesting to have seen that a little more fully, even if it was like in unification or something. But yeah.
I love it. And apparently your answer to my question was no. Kristen.
Well, it depends. What about Ethan Peck? We could see him. He's daddy.
No,
but could he be a father?
And like, there isn't a Spock that I haven't been like, yeah, probably.
Problematic
So you're
Taylor.
alert. I'll take it. It's fine. Krista?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I had problems with this one because the idea of selecting any of them for I just don't find Parenthood inherently entertaining. So for me, I was kind of like it came down to like what would be the most absurd selection instead of someone that I would genuinely want to be a parent. And so that led me to like, Garrick. But my answer is the perfect mate lady, Kamala.
You've been thinking about her a lot lately.
And it's because Joanne planted an earwig. My ear's now bleeding, but there's an earwig in there that just says Kamala. So I'd want to see her, but only for one scene, which is around the dinner table where the kids are now old enough to look at her and then look at their father and go, wait, I just want to understand how this works. You were made. I want the whole explanation for how she ended up with him and have like that conversation happen at a table. But otherwise, I don't think they do Parenthood well in the franchise. So I really wouldn't want to, like open the door of opportunity for them. So it would have to be someone absurd. And they do absurd very well, but they don't do like a nurturing parental relate. They don't do that well at all. They can't even really manage a sibling relationship in a nurturing way. So
It would just be nice to hear Kamala say a sentence other than "I am for you, Ulrika Volt."
She'd be like, "Let me tell you why your name's Jean-Luc."
exactly. Let me tell you how I was.
And disrupt fucking Thanksgiving dinner.
So, I'm letting you in on a little secret. I am for your father, and the reason I don't act like him at all is because I'm actually bonded to somebody else.
This
All the
is what
kids
I'm
are
Reason
bald.
why you're bald and your dad, your father, has a full head of hair. Yeah.
it would be interesting.
You're not wrong. Fearless leader?
I agree with what Krista was saying about Parenthood generally not being shown well in Trek, save a few examples. Ben Sisko is a wonderful father, and that is why I would like to see Worf as a parent, because we haven't seen that.
Like? I can't wrap my head around.
Parent. We haven't seen him as a good parent.
Haven't seen him. Have not seen it, and I want to know. No, my real answers are Tasha Yar. Had she lived and escaped with Sela, I think that would be very interesting. And my other real answer, more recent, is Daddy Pike. I think that terrible child actress aside, I think he would probably be a wonderful father. And that's my answer. And I'm sticking with it.
As you should.
Excellent intention setter. As always, the intentions are set. It is now time to maroon ourselves on SETI Alpha 5. Nothing will go wrong. Let's talk about our top thoughts and do our worst. I shall kick off the top thoughts section. I thought this was a good episode, not a great episode. I was struggling with some of the voice actors this time. I think many of them are great, but the ones who aren't are real bad. The voice actress for Ursula is particularly rough for me. She sounds like a monotone Marla. Like I was like, is she making fun of Marla in some way? It's like she sounds just enough like Marla, but without any emotion and just monotone. But we also got some interesting addition to the story. We now know that something's up in this solar system. I struggled with the science of it, but then I was like, well, no, we can detect neutrinos and shit on Earth now. So like, whatever. That's one of the things where on a second listen, I was picking up on. I was like, no, that I could see that happening. I also think Khan's sort of delusions of grandeur are getting a little thick and like too often being laced throughout, but the weight of loss on him, I'm finding very compelling. Like not in a, oh, he's not that bad kind of way like we talked about last week, not really happening, but like a, oh, like this person is three-dimensional and the loss is weighing on him. So those are my top thoughts on this episode. Krista, what did the gravitational waves make you feel? What were your top thoughts on this episode?
I thought this was a great chapter to help sort of flesh out the archetypes that each character is. They're falling into very specific narrative archetypes now for me while I'm listening to them. But I think the most interesting thing for this one was the continued active, willful manipulation by Khan of these people. And the most telling component was when, for 3/4 of the chapter, he provides them with what they need for him to retain his position. So for 3/4, he has this sort of overt active ownership of these people. They are mine. Their thoughts are mine. Their activities are mine. Everything is mine. And then there was that brief interchange between what's her face and him, in which he does a complete flip, and instead of them all being there for him to facilitate his thing, suddenly he's there for them. And that's the kind of thing that she would need to hear in order to be receptive to whatever he intends to continue going on. So for me, it just really it further illustrated his adaptability in terms of manipulating this group of people into believing what he needs them to believe so that he can continue to facilitate this thing in his own head. And I didn't notice it before this chapter, the idea of referring to him as king, referring to him as Lord, referring to her as lady. These are the theological elements in there are still really there if you're paying attention. And so for me, it just built more characterization, and it makes me less sympathetic to him. I am not sympathetic to him at all. I do not find his feelings of loss having to do with the loss of the person specifically, but more the loss of his ability to continue perpetrating this mummers pantomime that he's got going on that he himself needs and is convincing them that they need. So
I guess that's me. I yeah, that's a it, I like this episode. I think it's where it's building the story nicely. I can tell that this was kind of decided to be like, if this was a mini series, how this would kind of flesh out. It makes me a little bummed it's not, because Naveen Andrews is so good in this. Like, I'm finding his voice acting to be really compelling. Um, though a little over dramatic, like it comes off a little melodramatic, but I think he's just channeling Ricardo Montalban because he's also very melodramatic. So it's coming off nicely. The sound design and the sound engineering on this series is wild. How good it is! Like that, there's that moment, like the moment that, towards the end of the episode where he kills Richter. It is the sound design is disgusting. Like, it was awful. The noises that came out of that moment. So it's very interesting. I think it's kind of a bold move for this series to be killing off kind of a lead character every episode thus far. I've been trying to listen to them as we've come up to them, so as to not jump ahead. But I think it's really interesting. Based on our conversation last week, I stopped viewing Khan is this as like them kind of humanizing him, but viewing his self-worth more in regards to the people around him, because if they're not around and following him, he's nothing. So it makes sense that he has this like deep connection to these people, but it's like that of a narcissist who is trying to he needs these people around him because they call him a king, but a king is no one without their subjects. So he needs these people around him more than they need him in a lot of ways, because they're all very self-sufficient and building this trying to build a colony, and they're all working very hard, but he's kind of doesn't do much. He just kind of sits there and points and says, "You're doing a good job," and just walks away. So I don't know. I'm getting off topic. I think it's really good. There's not much to say. It's pretty short. I think the story's moving along really nicely. The sound design is really marvelous. I think Naveen Andrews is for a voice, for literally just using your voice. I kind of like, I'm kind of like, can we have him as Khan? Like, can we do like a reboot retcon thing with him? Because he's so good. Like, I kind of want to see him in like as Khan. Like, I kind of want to see this. Like, if they just shoot one episode with him and everyone, like, I would be satisfied, because I think he's marvelous in this. I think he's doing a really bang up job. But anyway, Joanne, darling.
So yeah, I'm there with you all. I thought this was a good episode to really kind of help world build and sort of establish or see Khan establishing himself more and more as the center of their story and their world. Um, I loved at the top the kind in the little framing thing with you heard Khan several years before later, um, and then they kind of flip back to the days he's reflecting on, and I thought that was really kind of nice, and it also sort of set up their first kind of little um attempt to build community has endured, and with the storytelling and kind of a callback to last week's Shahrazad and the importance of story, to tell history, but also to build community and culture, right? So I thought that was a nice little hat tip. I agree. Naveen was doing all of the acting this episode. Like, it was visceral at times, just my reaction was just like, is he in the room? I mean, that would be inappropriate, but so hot. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it did. Like it advances the story, right? Even though the ending was hard, right? But it does what it's supposed to do. It moves the story along. So overall, I liked it. Trev.
Yeah, I feel like I'm settling into this. Like the first episode, we were all very vocal about how much we're enjoying the scripted drama of it all, the scripted audio drama of it all. In this one, I've kind of settled into, like, I'm more comfortable. I'm not as excited about the fact that it's an audio drama. I'm just like, oh, cool, it's an audio drama. Like, this is how I'm gonna. There's gonna be some expositional dialogue that if it were on screen would be annoying, because they would be telling me things that I could just look at. um, because there were moments, particularly with a lot of MacGyver's dialogue, where she was clearly just describing things that were happening in front of her or around her, and I caught myself in the last episode being kind of pulled out by that, and now I'm just comfortable with it and used to it, so I'm just sort of along for the ride. All of the points about Naveen agreed, and then some. I can't imagine someone else doing this role now, which is weird because it's only been 3 episodes. We're what, like 2 hours worth of content in, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's Khan. Like I'm totally on board with him being this person. I like the ebb and flow of them humanizing him only to make him more comfortably militant and potentially evil. and sort of the ebb and flow of that is fun. I agree with Will on the sound effect. The only thing that was weird for me is I'm not clear on how he killed him.
I think he broke his neck.
Yeah, he snapped his neck.
Because it sounded squishier.
Like a bird.
Yeah, it's not a. It was he like snapped his neck. Yeah.
I mean,
I also felt like there was like not just like because he's so strong, it probably ripped a little more than just the neck snapping. It was probably throat coming out a little bit.
It just sounded squishy. I think we knew it was coming in terms of like where the scene was going, scene, chapter. But it was still jarring, and to Will's point, graphic, but I still found it a little confusing. I like the build up to City Office 6. I just didn't realize we were going to get it so soon. So laying that groundwork is interesting. But I guess it does make sense because I don't remember. I'm sure when we cover Wrath of Khan, we'll talk about like I think they mention how long it was until City Office 6 exploded.
It was pretty quick after. It was less than a year. They weren't there for very long.
It was 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they spent most of their time on that hellish version of City Alpha 5 as opposed to the Garden of Eden with scary worms. All in all, I'm still enjoying this story. I agree with the struggle with some of the voice acting. Also, I still have to like go back and listen again sometimes when the actual timeline changes, or like when we're at a different point in time. I'm like, wait, what? Like, especially when it goes from Khan in the future to Khan in the past. Like, I'm like, wait, when is this? I have to kind of catch up, and that's a little annoying. But
I've had a little bit of feedback for Paramount in that front because like they've got the YouTube version and there's the transcripts. Like there could be some added clarity there, and I've even like I haven't gone full Karen, but I have commented on a few of the YouTubes of like, hey, we know George Takei plays Captain Sulu. Can you list out the characters of the other? Because it's like starring, and it will the for as whoever. Like, we know. And then also these other people that you cannot distinguish from anyone else. Like, come on, tell me.
It's so weird that I'm like, I kind of wish there were like I get why some of the actors are choosing to sort of overdo an accent to distinguish their voice, but I wish there were more accents. Like we need more augment diversity of ethnic and language origin so that I can hear who's who. Because
what do you mean? You cannot tell who is speaking at the moment?
Yes, I have it to you.
I listen to it through my podcast app, and it gives me the feature to have it in script.
Hmm.
So I can listen to it, but I can also, and I found that reading it helps eliminate a little bit of those issues while I'm listening to it. But the whole point of a Audible is to be able to. So I
Sure.
absolutely take your point.
It would be interesting if they did the we're now back in time as opposed to listening to the tapes version of the story, like that part of the story. If that were just audio, but if the tapes themselves, it wouldn't have been that costly. Maybe makeup wise, it could have been, but like it would have been neat to have them like in a cargo container, like recording in front of a screen, like just like we do when we see captain's logs. They're just a little shot of them at their desk or whatever. It would have been interesting to see Khan like in a cargo pod and her like MacGyver's in a lab, like doing sort of a very staticky visual log that they could put on YouTube. But if you're listening to it, you're just listening to it.
I had trouble. I couldn't figure out the timeline until the second listen through, because I was like, wait, so we've jumped. So now we know there are children, because children are having stories read. But as soon as like the background noisy noise that distinguishes the present to going back in time and observing what is actually happening. So are the kids there? Is this still prior to the kid? Like I did get a little confused about that. And as to voices, for me, the more annoying one is Sylvana, just because her voice reminds me of the voice for 50 Shades of Grey, which was like a girl who sounded like she couldn't be more than 12. So the material being read by somebody with that young a voice, it was like, you're already in the book, so maybe you feel like you need a bath, but now you've got a 12-year-old reading it to you. I had somebody come and arrest me. So her voice really irritates me, but I think Ursula's voice, there's a point to that one. So I would argue there's a point to her feeling like Marla and sounding like Marla, but being distinguishable from Marla. Because I mean, that's your segue into your next one. So just I'll save that.
It works. I'll take it. Trevor, did you have any additional top thoughts? Because we just interrupted them.
Sorry.
Oh, did you? No, you didn't. No, it became like a conversation. No, I'm good.
And we hate that here at the salon.
We do. Fucking conversations.
We never do it. No. I was shocked and appalled that it happened.
It will be edited out. I am so sorry. So just getting into the different plot points of the episode, one thing that I didn't share with y'all earlier that I realized we probably should talk about, if there's not much there, but the future with Dr. Lear and Captain Sulu apparently letting his ship be pelted by meteorites. Was there anything with that initial bit with Tuvok and Dr. Lear that anybody wanted to discuss?
I thought it was kind of cute. I thought it was fun that Sulu has a little bit of whimsy. Yes. I do find Dr. Lear to be kind of annoying, but I think that's kind of the point of what's happening. Like, I think we all have theories about what her deal is. So, but I thought it felt very Sulu to be like, oh, lower the shield so we hear the meteors. I'm like, girl, the paint on your ship, but like your paint job. But yeah, I thought it was cute.
I liked the overall message was like, hey, you asked to do this, so sack up.
Yeah.
You're the one that shamed everybody into letting you do this, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah. She's like, I can't work in these conditions. I was like, you shouldn't be here at all, bitch. Exactly. You shouldn't be here at all.
Yeah.
But I love Tuvok
in these conditions.
He's just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Here's what's happening.
No one fucking cares.
Do you want to beam down to the planet and work there? Do you want to work in those conditions, bitch?
You can just sort of see George Takei going, next.
Yeah.
He probably did it on purpose.
Dismissed.
He's like,
Oh
oh, I
my.
like the shields at like,
I like the shields at 10%, maybe do 5 per quarter.
Helm, alter course slightly so that Dr. Lear. I cannot do voices. You all know this.
Always keep us in an orbit where the sun is always directly in her window. Oh my.
You
I
would
will
hear
also
it
say
from
though,
me.
I think her. I want to believe what Krista's saying about Ursula and that being a choice. Like it's on purpose. It's not like I don't mean to suggest that it's bad voice acting, but that voice acting I struggle with. However, I think there's some evidence of my theory being correct that Dr. Lear is the lesbian's augment child and not Marla and Khan's because their monotonous voices are so similar. That's my theory, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
They sound alike.
She does kind of give you Ursula vibes.
And pissed for no reason vibes.
Yeah, and just
yeah.
rude, like rude.
Just a real rotten bitch. Yeah.
The
Rotten old bitch. Pushy.
Dr.
Pushy
Bitch.
bitch. Yeah, Dr. Bitch.
I think the relationship between Maddow and Ursula.
Rachel Maddow?
Rachel
Yes.
Maddow's in this?
Rachel Maddow.
She's one of the lesbians.
Oh my
She's
God,
one of
what
the
is that? They named her
Um,
Mado for that. No.
I think that it's I think that they're very it's very deliberate the way it's very deliberate the voices and the accents. Ursula is very hard consonants. She's very direct. It's very dead. It's very unfeeling. And then you have her counterpart who has this rolling sort of melodic way of speaking. It is ultimately much more welcoming. And as they're presented in this, and this is what I mean by they're starting to show the archetypes. It is not surprising to find out that that Mado is the one carrying the child.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because like they're presenting Ursula as this pure scientist, and you're kind of offended by her right away, and even more so in this episode. And then by the end of the episode, she's kind of like, well, he's like a dog. I mean, it could be rabies, but let's fucking kill him and cut his head open. We're gonna do like she's all in. She wavers not for a second. She doesn't even think about it. So the way their voices work is just another level of what they are. Ursula is all in, and she feels like, and I'm probably using the term wrong, but she's like the top. Is that she's like the top in that? And then
No one help her.
Well, she seems sort of subservient. The person carrying their child, their technologically produced child. Like none of this is natural. None of this it's all being forced. So the whole theme of the series is force working against will. All of this is all just examples of force and different levels of force and the kind of force that you can sell yourself on. Like we want to have a child, so it's fine to do this technological thing. It's fine to not to make do with what we have in order to make that happen because we're superior. But does it turn out to be the right thing? I mean, if Lear is, is that wrong? I'm saying she's the more dominant. You know what?
You're right.
Let's
You,
pretend.
you
right,
started
you're right.
correct. You started
Let's
correct.
pretend for a second that I don't get on this thing to fucking offend people. Let's just pretend that for 1 second. So
This is
I
why,
think
this
the
is why,
way
Krista,
they're,
I think you should have a Grinder account and just make it very clear. I am here to learn.
I
That
don't.
would be
I, you know,
adorable.
I could. Ron, is it Ron Johnson? Is it
Mike Johnson,
Mike Johnson?
secret
Yeah.
homosexual.
Right. We're getting off the track. My point is this.
But you're on track with your point though.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Because
Well, I think
help me.
Mado kind of. I think you're right, Krista, in that they're doing all of these things that I think they think are revolutionary and radical, but I think there's a subtext there that it's really not. And I think actually Mado kind of gave us the key with her line in this episode where she said, you know, we're superior but not necessarily better or something like that.
Perfect.
Because she's just like, we're human. And we're going to do human things. And since we're on Ursula and Mado, I also struggle a little bit with this relationship. On the surface, I'm just like, oh, you know, it is very progressive, these two women having a baby. But I'm also kind of like, I want to see how this plays out because to me, Mado sounds African. So the dynamics of Chris was like, oh, it makes sense that she's carrying the child. And I'm like, here we fucking go again, right? So they're really falling into a lot of the tropes, a lot of the roles, a lot of the stereotypes that they think that have been engineered, that they're above, that they've been, you know, it's been engineered out of them. But they're building this society that is, you know, in lockstep with some of the worst things of the human condition.
Mhm.
So it's equal parts frustrating and compelling, right? Although, and the reason I'm not like railing against it is because I agree with Krista too, that I think it's intentional. And so I'm waiting to see this play out. Now, if it plays, the parallel, yeah. So
Yeah,
now, if it
I
doesn't,
wondered-
then we'll have some other shit to talk about. But yeah,
I've wondered that too because it does feel intentional. I do wonder if it's a parallel to, well, they're supposed to be better, they're augments, but now they're doing the same fucked up shit. But the other thing that's missing for me with their relationship is a relationship like Mado says, "My love," and that the voice actress there is doing a wonderful job. I can feel the love in her dialogue, but they haven't been given much to do other than make a baby in a not a non-traditional sense, in a not romantic way. That's not right either.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah,
You weren't in the room.
That's true. That is true. Thank you, Trevor. I just mean I
know what you mean.
I like the inclusion and the inclusivity of the lesbian lovers, but I would like to see them loving or hear them. I would like to hear them loving a little more beyond the medical bits of creating a child.
What exactly is it you want to hear, Stan?
yeah. I'm like, clean it up, babe. Clean it up.
Thank you, because my mind for once was not in the gutter, you dirty bitches. Like them sharing a meal together and talking about like before we went into sleep and we had that night on the night in Paris or whatever. I don't know, like something like.
Well, they're not talking about, you know, taking wood and building a boat and sailing off to be together just by themselves. But I think one of the things that I've just heard that kind of bothers me is the idea that two characters who happen to be women having a child is like extraordinarily progressive. I don't find that unusual enough to be progressive. I think that that's more like why do I have to look at that and go clap, 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 you've done something extraordinary? It's not extraordinary. It's two people that love one another and they want to have a child. That's not, we don't question that when it comes to heterosexual relationships. I don't understand why we need to question it for any other relationship. And I realize that the world that we live in, so this is just my personal opinion, and my disclaimer is I don't think that's altogether, I don't think it's extraordinary for it to happen. I think it's extraordinary for it to be accepted as just another everyday thing. And I wish it was more of just an everyday, like something that doesn't even bear notice.
You might be noticing the three homosexuals having light bulbs go off.
Sorry.
Well, I'm going to say something. I agree with you. I think in this,
there's layers here, and
I think you're on point. The way it, I actually appreciate the way they're being represented, because it was when we're first introduced to them, it's them asking for permission from Khan to do this, to try again, and it didn't, and he was very like, yes, of course, go do it. And I think that them being a lesbian couple is so secondary to the story of them trying to have a child, and that was more of the central story, that I find this actually be like, I've harped about this before, but this is probably one of the better examples of post-representation in Star Trek, where them being in a same-sex relationship is very not of the center of these two characters. Like you and I take Stan's point where we're not getting much of their relationship, but I mean, it's not Star Trek lesbians, it's Star Trek Con. So I mean, they're not the central character, but I think the information we have gotten thus far is like, I would love to see a Star Trek lesbians. Let's do it. I think what we've heard thus far is actually some of the most, but like, progressive in the way that their sexuality is so like, it's not a central thing. I don't know. I think this is like probably the most nuanced same-sex couple we've come across in Star Trek amongst the handful we've gotten. I just don't feel like they're hitting me over the head with it, which is so nice, because it's these two people who want to have a child. It's not two lesbians, because no one's fertile. No one can have a child. So it's not central that they're trying, because they can't biologically have children together, through quote unquote natural means, through heterosexual intercourse. So like, it's not because of the circumstance, their representation to having a child is actually normalized within this group and within the story. It's great. I mean, I actually agree with what everyone's saying, but I think it being kind of blasé is kind of the thing I like about it. That they're so like, they're gay, who cares? They just want to have a baby.
Here's my struggle, and how I agree with all of you, yet still struggle, because everything you're all saying is correct, yet we don't get to see them.
Right.
Like, this is frustrating for, like, in the 970 episodes of Star Trek, we've gotten 40 with a gay couple, and the gay couple wasn't the focus necessarily. And now we get what we're talking about, the progression that we kind of wanted, in terms of like, it's there, it's progressive, it's also normalized and healthy and about something other than the sexuality, and we don't get to see it. All we have to do, we just have to hear it, which has a very, I'm only saying this because of current Paramount vibes, it has a very, well, this is safe kind of feel to it, which is like, but that's on the rare occasion that I'm a pessimist, which is happening right now for some weird reason. That's my feeling about it, and sort of my reaction to it. It probably has nothing to do with that, because this was probably recorded well before all of that was happening at Paramount. But it just feels weird. It lands weird for me. But like I said, agree with all of the points. But the fact that we don't get to see it makes it feel a little funny.
Any other thoughts on Ursula and Mado before we talk about the discovery?
I don't like the name Ursula. Just as a rule.
I'm curious
You're worried
what
she's going
Mado
to try and steal your
does.
voice.
I-
You're curious what?
I'm curious what Mado does. What is her?
What's her jam?
Well, what's her professional role? I mean, there's no.
She's the agriculture. She's the grower.
She's the agriculture person who
Oh.
has time to in a subordinate position apparently run as emissary to people that Ursula doesn't want to deal with. It's like what if I don't like that. I don't like that particular it just struck me as wrong. I just didn't. And even Marla says, well, why didn't Ursula come? Well, why didn't Ursula come? Like why are you, it was almost as though she was asking not just why didn't Ursula come, but why would you choose to be errand person for.
I think
You know
that's
who
a
else
great
wants?
Imagery
Do you know who
there.
else? You know who else wants to know why Ursula didn't come? Is Ursula.
Ooh. Busy. No, that's actually a great segue, and I want to switch up the agenda a little bit rather than
To what?
talk about, rather than
How
talk
is that
about
like-
what Krista said, not what you said.
Oh.
Gross.
Who did I piss off now?
No. I said
Segue.
what you said was a good jumping off point to talk about Ursula and her interaction with a couple of other people.
I was gross.
Yeah, Trevor was gross. For the record, Trevor was gross.
But in Trevor's defense, there's nothing gross about coming. Anyway,
This is correct. Pretend I pushed the button because I think both of them probably. But I wanna put off Paulo's discovery for a moment because I think back to 2 minutes ago, Krista made a really good point about Ursula sending Mado to talk to Marla. Ursula also had, I thought, like while I struggled with the tone, I did like her interaction with Paulo. The curiosity was there. What do you mean? Let's figure this out. And then when he goes off to grab someone else's telescope, she yells after him, "Don't just take it, ask for it." Like, so she's not a bitch to everybody. And I thought that was interesting. There's like a little touch of like kindness to her. Obviously with Mado, they have had lovely moments. I was just saying I would like more of them. But that moment was interesting. And yes, sending Mado to talk to Marla. I want to talk about Marla in this episode. She had an interesting moment with Mado that went in a direction that I didn't think it was going to. She asked the question, well, why didn't Ursula ask me? But then Mado is like, oh, did you make these chimes? And I thought it sounded to me like they were going to have like a lovely moment of connection. And then Mado is like, oh, so this is just so you know if somebody's coming in to harm you. A very good idea. And then saunters off with her pregnant self. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I got the vibe that Mado was a little more down with Marla being there, a little more chill about it. And then this made me wonder if I'm wrong. Did anybody else get that sense or have thoughts about Marla and Mado in that moment? Am I off base? Did that feel that?
I didn't expect that. I thought she was going to say something like, "Oh, these are lovely. They remind me of something." These little wind chimes that you've got going here. I did not expect that she would tie it to that, and I don't even think that Marla actually tied it to that. I think Marla actually was making a wind chime. And so I think it's very telling how it is interpreted by others, and her being entirely unaware that even if she did intend it for that reason, that it was so obvious to others. I don't really understand what their problem is with Marla, except to say that I think of all of them, Marla is not the first to openly genuflect to Khan's superiority. And I think when you have a person in a room like that, it's disruptive, because whether you want to or not, you either start focusing on why they're not doing it or focusing on how to make them do it. And there's not really much else happening. And I think rather than question their own tendency to just the answer to every fucking question is, well, he's Khan. Khan is going to survive because Khan is, anything that undermines that is a problem for them. It's very, listen, it's hard to listen to this and deal with real life right now. The strings are, it's very obvious. I mean, if Ivan isn't Hegseth with his rampant mediocrity and toxic masculinity and his circle jerk of boy brodom, I don't know who is. There are alternative messages being sent through this 4chan. It's 4chan. There are subliminal things being presented here that are kind of a commentary on what's really going on. And so it's kind of interesting as in terms of sort of exploring how it is that you become a genuflecting lickspittle. Like, when do you choose to do that? And when does it stop being a conscious choice and just an automatic thing happening? But I don't know what Marla has done to Madao. What has she done to her? She's done nothing, as far as I can recollect, in 3 chapters.
I mean, she hasn't done anything, but I think that's her role. With the role they're putting her in is, again, kind of that. It's
Khan's
a little
woman.
Huh?
Khan's woman.
For Madao?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Marla.
Oh, no. Madao, I think, is, in that kind of, in the service of playing kind of peacemaker, of, like you said, carrying the messages and, helping them kind of do the emotional labor. She's always the solution, or she always has an answer. She's always the one kind of concerned about, their physical well-being and needs. It's a choice. It's an interesting choice. It's an interesting choice for Madao.
See, the excuse me, I'm sorry. The wind chime thing I took as not this is actually a good idea. I saw it as augment mind games. Like these are. I hate saying this because these are people, but these are people that were created. I'll use the word created for the purpose of being the ultimate soldiers and combatants. So sort of playing the I know what your motives are chess game by revealing that she thinks she knows what her motives are. Because it does 2 things. Saying the wind chime was a method of like alerting people to arrival does one of 2 things, and both of them give her the upper hand. It's acknowledging that I know that you are nervous to Marla. Like I know that you're unsettled and you're uncomfortable, and I'm letting you know that I know that. Or it's planting the seed of nervousness and discomfort in Marla of you should be watching your back right now. Either way, it puts between the human and the augment. I realize augments are augmented humans, but I'm just saying between the non-augmented human and the augmented human, it puts the augmented human on sort of the upper hand, gives them the upper hand. And I saw it as just a chess game of this is natural for this enhanced version of soldier to act this way and to play this game. That's how I took it.
It's part of the programming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they always, the augments always thought of people who were not augmented as inferior, and Marla is there, and she is an outsider in a group of people who view themselves as outsiders, but also superior to everyone else because they are augments, because they are genetically modified, they're genetically superior. You know, they're moving, you know, huge pieces of equipment with only one person is moving 2 tons worth of equipment. So like they're making it clear that she is safe with no one because she has no friends. The only person she's there for is Khan, and Khan's only accepted her because he needs more acolytes. So she's only there because she can also be unfortunately a breeding sow, so they can use her to have children. So like she serves purpose for Khan, and in Marla's eyes, she's there because, you know, whatever reason she left, but like it's putting her in a place where she is not. They set up a thing earlier with Marla where she's talking about her joining Starfleet might not have been a good idea because she's always by herself. This wasn't, you know, she's this historian person. That joining Starfleet, being on a starship, maybe was not the best idea. This is a woman who continually makes bad choices. So she chose to leave the Enterprise to go with this group of like space Nazis. Like it's like she left to go with them because she felt out of place on the Enterprise, and then is now continuing to be out of place with these people who are, you know, I had a glass of wine. I'm blanking on the word. So like, I think that the wind chime was a moment of them being like, you're not smarter than us. We know you put this up so you know when people are entering. This was a security thing for you. I noticed it. You're not safe. No matter what you do, you are inferior and not safe here. You have no friends.
Well, and they're doing
and you've seen the way where she goes in and she wants to help, and they're like, "Get the hell out of here!" Like they're painting this idea that she's not safe.
They're doing a really good job too of making sure that it's not just her, it's not just Marla's insecurities, but everyone else except for Khan doesn't understand the point of having an historian here. Like he's looking at it in terms of like, I want to build a society, and so I need this person to basically catalog things, but I also need to, you know, give them a little of myself to make sure that they're writing nice things about me. But like, no one else understands her purpose, and they're doing a really good job of having her show up in situations. And like you said, Will, like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing in this room? It all has "why are you here on this planet" written all over it. And no one sees her purpose, including herself. And
now they're starting to blame her for these incidents happening, like Ivan
or Ivan.
Krista had her hand.
I think the wind chime was simply a wind chime, and I think that the offense of the wind chime is that it's not purposeful, because from the beginning everything they do is purposeful. Even the lovely pictures, unfinished pictures, whatever, they were all purposeful. Where it goes awry is when you have those that are purposeful engage in something that is without purpose at all. So making a wind chime is without any purpose at all, other than I want to hear the wind go through it or whatever. It's very self-indulgent. Richter drawing pictures of Sylvana and not finishing the picture of the plant that they need to know, the poison plant. These things, what they contribute is purposeful, but it breaches purpose into self-indulgence. And so curiously, the one person that's still alive is ostracized from the group because their purpose is not recognized at all. And they compound it by continuing to do things that simply validate that echo chamber, validate that impression. The other two are dead. So it's almost as though, you either contribute and provide, or it's going to be so much worse for you. But I honestly, I think the wind chimes were meant sort of Chekhov's gun in the very same way that Sylvana and Richter were taken out.
Yeah.
They were too emotionally accessible. These other people, with the exception of Maddow, maybe, are no longer emotionally accessible. It's all very black and white, and they may get along, but they get along for a greater purpose, not because there is a purpose in getting along. It's a means to an end. So if they can't distinguish what Marla is there for, there's no means to an end there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if the wind chime was like, if Marla's intentions was just that she wanted something, she wanted to hear the wind, and that kind, even if her intentions were purely what she, because I think she was speaking the truth when she said like, I just wanted the noise. Like, she's just like, this felt homey to me, or whatever her reasoning is. Right. I think because we keep forgetting that the augments are bloodthirsty megalomaniacs that are eugenicists who thought of them as superior, who tried to take over the planet. And I think that they're saying that up, even if that was there only to be like, to have the purpose of be decoration. That they viewed that as like, oh, this you're not one of us. This is a security device. Exactly. It's their intention on the item. So like it's not that it doesn't serve a purpose. They're not seeing the purpose. They go, this is because you're doing this thing, this negative thing, because that's what they would do because they're bloodthirsty psychos.
They don't see any other purpose for it.
Exactly. Yeah. They're only seeing that this is because they're thinking, oh, this is a security device for you. It could have been a potted plant, and they're like, what's in there, camera? Like, there would have been a whole nother set of things that would have been around it. So drugs. I think it just paints them. It continues to paint the idea that they're all bloodthirsty, like
it's Chekhov's wind chimes,
like space Nazis. Like they're not like. I think it's good to have remember that these people, they're not good people. When despite how they're humanizing them, at the end of the day, the augments are not. Their intentions are not to go make a society. What they want to do is build a society, breed so they can have an army, and then go take over shit. Like that's they want they want to conquer.
When all of your intentions are nefarious, you assume everyone else's are too.
Exactly.
For a colloquial example, see the Republican Party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say Republicans. Yeah.
For anybody watching this in the future, it's currently 2025, and things feel bleak.
We say
sound off in the chat. How'd the nuclear war go?
Yeah. Which side did you choose in World War III?
Yeah.
Also, kudos to Krista for making the wind chimes Freudian, because sometimes a wind chime is just a wind chime.
No, it's very.
Yeah,
I like that interpretation because I don't remember her denying that they were for.
She didn't deny it.
Yeah.
And but Maddow was saying, I think too, oh, you're not as naive as we thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also interesting because she said she just found, if I remember correctly, she just found the pieces. So what she constructed was a wind chime. Paolo found something and constructed a way to find out that the next planet over is going to explode.
Well, Paolo stole something.
So,
stealing shit.
But it's nice when you sort of put them side by side. Mm-hmm. One person did this and another person did this, and which one is going to be more valuable in the wash?
There are a lot of layers to this story and to the way that they're telling it. I think Kirsten Beyer and David, why am I blanking on his last name?
No, that's not it.
We don't know. Beck.
Mac. Why am I blanking on his last name? Is not his last name.
Beck. Brown.
Oh. I would pay good money for them to be in the chat so they could just like type in "you're getting there." I
need every
so fucking off base. Just shut up.
I need everybody in Star Trek production to be Aaron Walkie.
Where's Aaron Walkie when you need him?
I know.
You just chime in a little bit. No spoilers. Nothing weird. Like some some other people on some other shows that shall remain nameless. But
everyone in the chat, tag Aaron Waukee. Let's see if we can get him in the chat on that.
Yeah, see,
He's
yeah, let's get
listening.
Aaron
Aaron,
to
what are
tell
you
us
doing?
more.
We
Oh,
Has
you
anyone
know
tried-
Aaron
What are you
has
doing, girl?
thoughts.
Yeah.
Has anyone
We need
tried
to
saying
stop
Aaron
that.
Lucky's name 3 times?
Okay, here. There are jokes to be made.
Girl, reel it in.
I am.
Push the button just for your own brain. Push it. Push it.
Gross.
He's a very handsome man. That's all I was going to say.
Problematic gay alert.
And he very kindly came on the Salon. Check out our interview. It's in the interviews playlist. All four.
It's
of them.
David Mack.
David Mack. Thank you.
I said
You're
that. Believe women.
He's written a lot of
You know what? That's fair. And I'm gonna.
And I was the first to discover it, and I would just like to take all of the credit for.
And I want to thank Trevor for figuring that out. Because
If we could change his name to Trev, that'd be great.
thank you,
God.
Joanne. I'm going to explore that later. And believe women. Yes.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Joel.
It definitely.
Whose side are you on, Joel?
What?
Joel is my friend.
Fine.
I thought I heard it too, but we haven't talked about Ivan and his aggressive nonsense with Marla.
You're right. We haven't. No, I'm just,
What's
I
happening?
have negative feelings about Ivan.
Oh,
Yeah.
me too.
He's so mediocre.
This one and my brother. But we're talking about Ivan in Star Trek Con. Not
Is your brother named Ivan?
my brother's named Ivan. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll share more later, but Trevor gets mad at me when I explain the etymology of the name Ivan. It's Russian for John. Anyway, Ivan in Star Trek Con. What a bitch.
Somebody didn't get hugged enough.
Yeah, it's very mediocre white man vibe. It's very like, I'm going to show my strength by I imagine he
Micro-penis vibes.
he like shoved her shoulder or like grabbed her by the neck, but like she could still talk. So like, whatever it was inappropriate, and she had to conjure Khan punishing him in order to get him to back off, which is wild. He is getting more and more aggressive. He blames Marla for the deaths that have happened so far, even though, remember, the first death on this planet was him murdering Hugo and making it look like he just fell off a cliff, which is very Russian, by the way. Lots of people fall out of windows in Russia who disagree with Vladimir Putin or Khan. I wonder if I want to ask if that's purposeful. I'm starting a list of questions to talk to Trek production people about.
I was going to talk to Aaron Waukee about.
Yes,
When he
Aaron,
finally
you weren't
appeared.
involved in this at all, but
We love you, Aaron.
So, Mr. David Mack, can you explain?
Hello. Once
Can you
it's
take
over, we'll
time
have a
out of your
list of questions.
busy writing schedule to
Hey.
explain these 6 points to me?
Yeah. Sometimes if you find these people's email and you email them, they'll just email you back.
I'm
They're
working
just
on
like,
it.
yeah, sure.
Don't you worry.
Find
Don't-
his email. Yeah.
'Cause
Don't
we're as
y'all
lonely
worry.
as we
It
are.
is in process. In fact, I think
I don't really have much for Ivan. I feel like I think
How
this
is Krista the one getting us back on track? Thank you, Krista.
sorry.
Talk about Ivan. No, I love it.
I think this chapter was the fruition of what I assumed was going to be Ivan's deal. And again, it's shades of just mediocrity. It's shades of misogyny. It's shades of delusions of grandeur. It's what every cult leader needs. He is to Khan what Texas was to Charles Manson. These people need these disciples. They need these, and they need each other. It's a symbiotic relationship. So long as he appears to be doing what Khan wants, he can go ahead and fantasize about all the violence that he wants. He's already committed something that presumably Khan would not appreciate or co-sign, and he's continuing on as though he's Khan's perfect little disciple. I think he is threatened by Marla. I think that he doesn't understand why he doesn't understand why his dick doesn't get hard. He does not understand why Khan appears to listen to her, why he wants to keep her around. It's almost she's in the way of Khan being totally mine kind of thing. I want to be his surrogate son. It's like everything. It's everything Steve Miller and Pete Hegseth and these scared field mice that find themselves in a position where they can exert a lot of power and authority, and they're going to do so. Whether they actually can or not remains to be seen. But I think this is Chekhov's Ivan. This is he's very trite in a very kind of stereotypical. Just why did he have to have a Russian? I don't understand the Russian. Like, can we have just? Did he need to have an accent at all? I mean, is he not bad enough? Do we have to go full?
It could have been a little more subtle.
Yeah, it's all very trite. It's all very contrived is the word I'm looking for. I don't care for Ivan, but I understand Ivan's importance to the story because Ivan's going to bring about the shit that happens. Ivan's the guy, so he has to be there. Sorry.
I'm just going to say it. Ivan's terrible.
Ivan's terrible. Ivan hates Marla because Ivan wants to be Marla. I mean, and Ivan was Khan's partner.
Speaking of yes,
you were my faithful right hand.
I want to hear. Joanne is right.
Yeah, he's like, you're my faithful right hand, and
girl,
they were thick as thieves, and now here's Marla, and Ivan is like, you can't sit with us. Yeah.
Ivan is not like he is not a retcon of the number 2 in Star Trek Khan, right? Like that's
a what?
Yes, a retcon. Retcon. Okay, because
that is not going to happen.
I assume Ivan is dying. Either in this story or just was not on the Reliant, or maybe his voice was so annoying to them that they put him down in engineering, right?
It's possible.
No, Fetch is.
I don't think they've introduced anyone that's in the. Have they introduced anyone who was in Wrath of Khan?
Yeah.
Joaquin.
That's the only one that I know of.
Joachim is the son, who I don't think makes it.
Is the son of Joaquin.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Joaquin is in Wrath of Khan.
Yes, Joaquin is in there. He's the one he's at the
blonde.
Yeah. Well, they're all blonde, but he was at the.
I remember Joaquin, but not Marla. So go explain that shit.
Marla dies, so.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Ivan's gonna kill her.
Wait, what?
Ivan's gonna be part of that whole.
And that's how Ivan dies.
Oh, Khan
kills him.
Kills him in rage.
Yes, that's what's I'm calling it now. I'm actually calling it last chapter, but
wait, because so spoilers. Star Trek 2. They explain SETI Alpha 6 happens roughly 6 months later.
Yeah.
But Khan, did he say, he says my dear beloved or my wife or whatever died, but did he reference?
He did reference Well, he didn't reference the child, but he
Yeah.
referenced that she died because of the city eels. He
Mhm.
didn't say how though, but I think this episode establishes Khan as the alterer of history, the
Yes.
reteller, the reframer, the reshaper to
Mhm.
whatever fits the context at the time.
Yeah.
Also,
So
let's
what
just
a
say that
deal.
Ivan doesn't trip her and she or shove her into an eel, or I mean, we don't not like
yeah,
it could be
Yeah.
Well, and
'Cause-
we also still haven't been given the he got all bitchy and offended when it was, why don't you tell us your history?
Mhm.
Why don't we place Scheherazade with you? And he got
Mhm.
He doesn't want the
bent
real
out of
story
shape.
told.
We still
Yeah.
don't have it. And during that exchange, she was like, well, I would still like to talk to you. Essentially, I want to open a conversation about something. And he's like, I could sleep for days. And
Mhm.
she's like, oh, well, you've earned it.
Rest upon my bosom, then. My
Yeah,
boy.
rest upon my crotch. Please.
Have you ever had
lay
an
your
Astorian
head
tell you a
down
story?
in my lap.
You could sleep for days too.
I wouldn't be offended. The thing about it is that Marla may still be capable of free thinking, but the disappointing part is that it still seems the free thinking does not extend beyond Khan or her and Khan. Like he says, no, I could sleep for days. And, it's like, no, bitch, this guy took my neck and threw me into a wall.
Mhm.
I think we have a problem. I don't fucking care how tired you are. So she's in.
Yeah. The other thing that I struggled with her in this episode was it was a great conversation for the audience, but it was a horrible conversation to have MacGyver's talking about. Do you believe in a god or gods? Like, girl,
Yeah.
you're the historian. Do you not know their religious views or what? Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Like,
Yeah.
And
What?
the answer being there is only Khan. It's like,
that's why I liked the scene for that. Like, it did give us more of the there's one and only, and he's
Right.
over there. But
Do they?
the fact that she didn't know was kind of fucked up.
And Trevor, do you remember? Yeah, I agree. I could have used a line of like, the history is unclear on your belief system or whatever. But
Or-
do you
but-
remember?
Because it's expositional. Like, just say, well, I know that your people don't necessarily believe in a god, but here's
Right.
what I think, or here's what many believe, or here's what I've seen. Like, whatever.
Yeah, it ended up being lovely though. Like I forget exactly what she said, but like, if that's what you believe, then hold on to it. Let it
Yeah.
comfort you or whatever.
Yeah.
I am curious. Does anybody recall from Space Seed or other that like they're like, oh my God, it's Khan. Is it stated clearly or not that is it part of their genetic code, or did he just like Hunger Games and become the best of them? And
He's
so
just the
then,
best of the best. It's not like
Oh,
a
yeah.
founders thing where they're not allowed to like question him. It's just he's the best.
yeah, because if it's curious that there is some free will in it. They're like they're true believers, not because they are programmed to be, but because they've seen him do certain things that they think are cool. Like to Will's point earlier, them being space Nazis. They're like, oh, he's the best space Nazi. And so Khan is our czar, our sultan, or our king. I find it interesting. And in this episode, the layered performance of Naveen was so good, particularly after Ursula says, well, if we do an autopsy, I can figure it out. And there's another clarifying question I have for Star Trek 2. Because with the eel, he has an eel in him. That's why he remembers Khan saying fight, and so he fights Sylvana. Awful. Like that hit. As I'm listening, I was like, oh, this is graphic and horrifying.
but why did he fight her? Think about it. Because she was suggesting leaving.
Well, he was hearing that Khan told him to fight, so he was.
But
So it was a
But
misplaced thing.
what triggered
what prompted
Oh,
that?
true.
what triggered that
What triggered it?
that
No,
reaction?
you're right. You're right.
So this
Because
is
Khan
what made the
Khan
two
also
of
told
them
him to be calm.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so
And
I was
what
curious.
What
What-
makes Marla's conversation with Joaquin dangerous is that she gave him permission to think about another entity.
Mhm.
Mm,
This is what makes her dangerous. So she's got to go, ultimately.
yeah. Yeah.
To
The
the
layers. The layers. So my question about the eel, because Chekhov in Star Trek 2, the eel just falls
It
out.
just comes out.
Would that not have happened with Richter? Is that like, and I mean, I know they don't know that. What I'm asking is, how tragic is what Khan felt he had to do? Is it just tragic, or is it like super tragic? Like, girl, just wait an hour. It's gonna fall out.
I don't think they knew that because the ones that were in Chekhov and Captain Terrell's ears were babies. They
Mhm.
don't state how big the other eel is. I think that if
Mhm.
they reach a certain age, they will kill them, or they'll do something that causes them. They'll whatever.
Or
I
maybe
think
Chekhov
it fell
lucked
out. I think it fell out of Chekhov's ear because he couldn't kill Kirk. And I think it fell out of his ear as a result of whatever Chekhov being able to stop the thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's kind of implied that once they reach adulthood, they become super dangerous and can kill you. I mean, they don't really. It's not really explained in Wrath of Khan, but they do put babies in there. They said once they're infants, they're more susceptible.
Yeah.
So I think that they're once they're in and they're babies, that you're more you can kind of be coerced to do things, but then once you get older, it'll probably kill you. That's kind of what I'm guessing, or they'll like try and kill themselves, or something will happen. Like based
Also,
on what we
Chekhov
saw
wasn't
with
an augment.
Terrell.
They don't know any of
Right,
that right now.
No, we don't. It's
Right.
kind of speculation,
Right.
just because we only
This
saw
is
two
the
people who
first
had the
encounter.
worm, and what
Yeah.
Khan said, and he's been known to not be a reliable source of information. So we don't know yet.
Mm.
But I'm sure we'll get a bunch of shit about these eels in an episode or two.
Yeah. Because I am curious if in the autopsy they discover, oh, the effect was lowering. Shit, we probably just needed to wait 2 hours.
I don't know.
I don't
Would be a
think we're
bummer.
going to find that out, and I don't think it actually matters because I think it's for him it was a matter of this person is highly susceptible to my control unless I am not in the room, and then he's completely out of control. Because I mean, prior to even arriving back at base camp or whatever it is, dude said, "Get out of the tree," and he just like jumped
Just
out of the
jumped
tree.
out,
Didn't
yeah.
even really because you told me to.
And
Like
I
he
did
was a
like
cat.
the subtleness of like they
He just like fell out of the tree.
You're
what
not
I,
a cat.
what I love about that
It was
is
like he
they
was
have
literal Larry.
they have him do a completely not subtle thing, but it is subtle for Khan in that he doesn't recognize that Richter is doing exactly what he says
Yeah.
because they always do what he says. Like he's not picking up on the eel impact, and so like we know that he learns that that's what they do by Star Trek 2, and so like that progression I think is going to be really interesting.
So would Sylvana have been all right if before they left they just whispered into the air, "Hey Richter, don't kill
Stop
anybody.
fighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't."
I struggled with that moment for
Killing
the same reason that like it felt like horror movies. That's something about about this audio drama. There are hints of horror stories in a couple of moments, including that one where it's like I don't like horror, I don't watch it, but one that I saw as a kid was which one's that he tries to kill his sister and he wears the mask that's actually a Captain Kirk mask? Is that Halloween?
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah.
Like the cheesy 80s version of showing it, I'm like, why doesn't she just push her brother away? Like, why didn't Sylvan, like, not to victim blame, but like, she's also an augment. How did she not get out of there? And like, this is one of the ways where it being an audio drama, you have to put in like, she couldn't get away. But I wondered about that, just like in horror movies. I'm like, don't go up those stairs, or he's a little boy. Just push him and his knife away from you. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're just letting him stab you?
And you're working really hard to take it from a horror movie to a horror 15-minute short. Like, if you just push the little boy out of the way, the movie's over.
But the difference for the horror movie is
yes.
The difference for the horror movie is that the aggressor is very purposeful in it. This guy was purposeful, but almost like on an unconscious level. He was unconsciously purposeful. So it was supposed to, pull your heartstrings because Romeo kills Juliet and then doesn't remember what happened and only recognizes Khan, and in the safety of Khan's arms, then now finds the piece of no longer having to exist like this because somebody else has told him, absent a rabies test, we're not going to be able to tell if this guy's going to kill other people or not. I mean, it's all very clinical, and it's all very it's trying to pull the heartstrings, but what I'm seeing is that anybody with any kind of thought that is contrary to the cult group thought is targeted in small ways and large ways. It's all very, if there's even a hint. And in this, in the vein of horror movies, the two lovers die. Right off.
Tune in next week to get your rabies results.
I do have to say, though, because Krista said it out loud, I think anytime a person in position of authority leaves or departs for any given period of time, the standing order, like, don't murder anyone, should just be like that should just be delivered to everybody.
And that's on Khan for not being clear.
It's good advice.
Right.
All right, y'all. I think it's time. Trevor, can you land the ship, please?
At this time, I would be sort of fine about doing that. There were 4 problematic gay alerts. There was 1 canon alert. There was 1 problematic ally alert. There was 1 Ken dad joke, and I said it. Will did a good George Takei impression twice. Stan did a bad George Takei impression once. I gave City Alpha 5 bonus points to Krista for being famous. I gave her an additional 500 bonus points for topping all of us. I gave 5,000 bonus points to Joanne for clocking rude, probably augment scientists. And I gave 250 bonus points to Will for pitching Star Trek lesbians.
Oh, bye. Yes.
Okay.
Krista, can you
I'm gonna have to think about it. Hold on. Center myself. Hold on.
La 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 la.
like and subscribe? We'll see y'all next week. We're at Salon Trek everywhere. Bye.
All hands abandon ship. Proceed to the nearest evacuation zone immediately.